Hello Wolfpack, back with a daily Bitcoin update here because we are doing daily Bitcoin updates as long as this correction is in place and, as long as there's stuff to talk about on Bitcoin, whereas previously in the entire year you would have noticed that all of my content was revolving around altcoins, and that is because altcoins were the center of attention. I was very confident Bitcoin was going to go up, and now that Bitcoin is going down, and I'm quite confident it will continue to go down, minus a potential dead cat bounce that we might be having right now. I think that Bitcoin is the most important topic of analysis here, and also keeping an eye on Bitcoin dominance in relation to a potential altcoin season we might be seeing. So Bitcoin's a topic of analysis today as well. And just before I get into the video, one more thing. I do have a face cam equipment on the way. It's in the post. There have been some delays. It was meant to come yesterday. And so I have released posts on Twitter and YouTube about how I will be coming up with face cam very shortly. Apologies, there is a delay. It will be here possibly, I'd say, by the end of the year, right? By the end of 2021. So keep an eye out for that. But regardless, the analysis won't change. So Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin today? Well, Bitcoin has done something quite interesting again, okay? And that is it is rejected from the bull market support band. Right, this is a very critical thing. This is very interesting because the bull market support band is basically the best indicator we have as technical analysts to determine whether Bitcoin is in a bull market or bear market. As you can see, every time we're above the bull market support band, and you can go back in the chart yourself, every time we're above this, we see at least a few months to a few years sometimes of upwards momentum to new all-time highs. When we're below it, we see at least a few months of bearishness, like we saw here in May, for example. Bearishness for a few months, got back above it. Then we started the bull market again, okay? And what we're seeing right now is a drop below it. We're coming up right now. We're actually retesting the bottom of it, okay? And we've actually rejected from it, and we're heading back downwards, which is extremely bearish, right? For those of you who don't know anything about technical analysis, when you break a trend line, like we did here in September, let's use the bullish example as an example here. We broke it in September, we came back down, retested it, and then jumped off of it. That's what usually happens. It's called a four-step breakout or a four-step breakdown, okay? So we had, for example, the first move, second move, third move, right? Or three-step correction or four-step breakout, three-step correction, right? So basically what happens is you break up, you retest, you come back up, okay? Same thing for the downside. You break down, you retest, you go back down. So it is part of a breakdown. And so Bitcoin is still very much on a larger term technical analysis scale in breakdown territory, in corrective territory, until we break this bull market support band. And I would go as far to say until we break this yellow uptrending line. Once we retake that yellow uptrending line for support, which right now would require a break of around 55.5k, that's when I'd be bullish on Bitcoin again, because the structure has been regained. Until that point, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin at all in the slightest, right? I think it looks terrible right now. And I said yesterday, what did I say yesterday, guys? In my video yesterday, I said, while we were at 52k, right? Or 51.9k, whatever it was, I said, if we close the daily candle below 51k, which we did, right, and that marks 5 consecutive daily closes below 51k, it is very likely that we will come back down and retest this red downtrending line on the top here. And I think we're going to be doing that right now. That is only about 500 USD below us right now. So prediction played out perfectly. And I quoted a few things such as descending volume on this breakout, right? The volume is going down rapidly when you have a rising price or a descending price. When you have any kind of trend or strong trend and the volume is going downwards, that means the trend is not going to be supported for very long, okay? Descending volume in any kind of trend is a terrible sign for the state of that current trend. It means a reversal is on the way. And we had that low volume and continuously lower volume, and it just means there isn't enough buying power. Too many people are still on the sidelines. Too many people are bearish in the market for Bitcoin to rise up. And Bitcoin is in a real rut here, I'll tell you that right now. So look, what we're doing right now on Bitcoin is failing to see a breakout. Let's bring up, for example, let me just delete one of these lines here. We'll actually go ahead and delete the 12 and the 26, and we'll bring up the RSI, okay? Because the RSI is a very good indicator we can use here to understand whether Bitcoin is in breakout territory or not. Actually, one second, sorry guys. I think they've updated the RSI here. They have a bit of a trend line on it now. So let me just remove this trend line if we can. And we can kind of just get a plain RSI. I'm not really sure about that. I think there must have been an update there on TradingView. However, what we can see here on the RSI chart is constant throughout the whole of 2021, resistance lines forming on RSI, okay? We had one from January all the way through to July. We also had one through July through to basically September. We could draw it like that. There's multiple different ways you can draw it. You can draw it like that as well. We also had one here that we're currently forming and we've currently broken out of, okay? What we can see is that every time we break these RSI lines to the upside, we see a massive rally on Bitcoin. For example, in July when we broke that RSI line, we rallied from 29K all the way up to 53K within a matter of a couple months. Same thing in September. We broke it here, rallied from 40K all the way up to 68K within a couple months. And right now, just a few days ago, I think about a week ago now actually, we've broken this RSI line. We broke that RSI line when we were sitting at around 49K, okay? And a week later, we're currently at 49K still. And so the reason why this is concerning is because this RSI break is not showing us what we need to be seeing. And during this RSI break, even during this RSI break, which is historically a very bullish thing to happen to Bitcoin, which usually sends it up to new highs within a couple months, like we've seen in those two examples, we're actually seeing descending volume, which means people are losing interest in Bitcoin even after an RSI break because they're not confident it's going to go up, okay? I want to address the argument quickly that people would make that, okay, well, most people think it's going to go down, so it's probably going to go down, right? First of all, I don't see that argument as truthful at all. All I'm seeing on YouTube, all I'm seeing on Twitter is still people who are bullish, right? At the most, people will say they're being cautious, but mostly people are still, bullish out of genuine desire for new prices, or basically just bullish out of denial, right? Because they're down so much already and they don't want to admit that it's going to go down. But I'm not seeing all this bearishness people are talking about, and even if I was, okay, I don't understand why that is actually such a big deal. I think that's a very 2021 way to look at things. It's a very bull market point of view, right? We could see that during this drop here in May, right, everyone was fearful. I mean, the whole market was in extreme fear all the way from 50K on May 13th. I mean, you can look at the numbers yourself. The whole market was in extreme fear from 50K. We went on to drop down to 29K from 50K, which is almost halving in price. And it also lasted about 3 months, right? So just because the market is fearful, that's not a valid reason for the price to swing back to the upside, right? There needs to be actual technical substance behind that break to the upside. And that RSI breakout was one of the things that I thought was going to... No, I didn't think, right? I have a bearish prediction, but it was definitely one of the more likely things to send us back into a bull market if we were going to see that happen. Didn't happen, right? Didn't materialize. And what we're seeing now, even as we speak here, we're just getting closer and closer to this red line that I'm going to make a different color here. I'll make it blue so you guys can see it. We're going to be retesting that blue line again. Okay, and retesting this blue line is very critical because now we are quite clearly clamping between this orange band, the bull market support band, and this blue line. If we drop below this bull line, it's pretty damn certain that we're going to be heading down for a potential double bottom here at 45K, and that is going to be the next potential bullish scenario. So we'll come down to 45K, we might do that, right? That's the best case scenario for Bitcoin if we lose that blue line. So let me say that again. If we lose 49K, we're going down to 45K. All right, and that is the next potential bottom. If we lose 45K, we're going down to 42K to 40K. All right, and I know this sounds like, oh, it could go up, could go down. That's not the case at all. Okay, I've actually been bearish on the market since 63K. I've said it's going to go down since 63K. We went down to 40K, right, 42K. I have made my predictions. I don't need to make any more predictions now. I can just react to what is happening. There's no need for me to make any more predictions. What I will say is that it doesn't look good, okay? Made a prediction yesterday, 51.9K. I said if we close below 51K, we're going down, we're headed down. That's a successful prediction, okay? I don't need to make predictions every video. What I need to do, and what you guys need to do, and what I encourage you to do, is not necessarily focus so much on predictions, but learn how to react, right? And learn what things actually mean, okay? This bull market support band is very, very critical. And another way we could actually draw this, right, is actually a double top formation on this bull market support band. Even if you weren't looking at bull market support, look what I draw those yellow circles. That's a double top formation, right? The next logical move is a head downwards. So downwards is the trajectory of Bitcoin until proven otherwise, and the proof otherwise would be breaking above this yellow uptrending line of support. Okay, what we're seeing right now in Bitcoin in the very short term, or in the daily chart, I guess it's not short term, but on a shorter term scale, is the 9 EMA. That is what I'm looking at. The 9 EMA is currently hovering at around 49.8K. Okay. What we can notice is during breaks to the upside, like September, you'll notice this blue line held for support during the entire break. During the breakdown in November all the way to December, right, this blue line, held for resistance throughout the entire break. This is a short-term EMA that indicates how strong a trend is. If you're above it, if you're holding it for support, the trend is very strong and you're looking very healthy. If you're below it, the trend downwards is very strong and you're looking very healthy, right? It's a bit of a momentum kind of thing, right? Right now we're testing it for support once again. If we close below 49.8k on the daily chart, that is going to be an indicator that we're in for another correction. As long as we hold that sort of support, we're still going to be retesting the bull market support band. So let me say that again, right? If we close above 49.8k, we're going to be retesting the bull market support band. Close below it, we're pretty much going to go down to 45k in my opinion. We're going to retest this red line, but I don't think it's going to hold, right? If we close below that, that is the support we need to be holding right now. Not looking too good, guys. I'm going to be honest, not looking too good. Let's look at the 50 and the 200. We can see the 200 is acting as support down here at 47k. It's a bit too low to be meaningful. If it was up here at this red line, it would offer some extra support in case of a drop, but it's a bit too low to be meaningful, as I said. The red line, however, and we'll bring back up the bull market support band, the red 50-day SMA is actually acting as resistance in conjunction with the bull market support band, forming an even harder thing to break to the upside, which is not good to see on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of resistance to the upside there. As for the VVPR, the volume profile, and we looked into this yesterday, but we'll look into it again briefly because why not? We have the POC at 48k here. Let's actually zoom out and get a view of the whole of 2021. We can see the same thing, right? We have the POC at 48k, which means that 48k, and that kind of lines up with this red line here that we have to the downside, is basically the last zone we need to be holding for support, the last resort for this relief rally, right? If we drop below that, and as I said, 49.8k as well with the 9 EMA, might sound a bit confusing here, but basically what the VVPR is telling us is that below 48.6k, it is going to become increasingly faster. The drop is going to be becoming increasingly faster for Bitcoin, right? Because there is a massive steep hill. The way I like to think of VVPR, volume profile, is like mountains, right? When you're running down a hill, it's very fast. When you're running up one, it's very slow, okay? And we're kind of in a middle ground on the VVPR as well. So if we drop below 48.6k, it's going to become progressively easier for us to drop until we get down to 42k, in which case we'll be in a crevice looking to run up a mountain to the downside. So it'll be hard for us to drop down from that point. So 42k, if we drop down from 48.6k. The point is, regardless of all these, technical jargon and all you want to say about that, right? Regardless of your views in technical analysis, the bottom line is the weekly chart. I like to look at the weekly chart. It gives you a very good idea on what, like I said, the bottom line is for Bitcoin. And the bottom line is this, okay? And this is the most important thing you need to be watching on Bitcoin. And I like looking at it because it's a weekly chart. It's very relaxing to look at the weekly chart. Stuff doesn't move too fast, right? And you can identify trends very easily. What we're seeing on Bitcoin, essentially, is a bounce off of the 50-week SMA. Okay, the 50-week SMA, much like the VVPR, is at 48k, the mid 48k region. Okay, the 50-week SMA typically offers us long-term bull market support. However, what we can see historically, right, in 2013, for example, is we top out, get an all-time high, drop down, bounce off the VVPR, and then head down to the 200-week SMA. Same thing happened in 2017. Okay, top out an all-time highs, bounce off the 50-week SMA, head down to the 200. Same thing happened in 2019. Top out, not all-time highs, but it was highs, okay? Bounce off the 50-week, head down to 200. What we're seeing right now is a, all-time high here, a bounce off the 50-week potentially, and the next logical step, according to this trend, is a drop down and heading towards the 200, right? And this is why, guys, I want to exercise caution in the market. Why should I be bullish in the market? Why should I overexpose myself in a market that technically just doesn't look good right now? Okay, what you will remember and what I will remind you of before you start calling this FUD, okay, what I will remind you of is back here when we were up at 66k, 68k, whatever it was in November, if you told people we were going to drop down to 42k, they would have said that would only happen in a bear market. It has happened and people have changed their biases, right? Because the fact of the matter is, there is biases in this market. People are biased in the market, including myself, okay? And that's why you should be critical of what even I say. But the point is, the people who are screaming for 300k, screaming for whatever, they have changed their opinions and they keep just redrawing their trend lines. Go back to the daily chart here, and I'll show you how many trend lines we've actually lost that people have just redrawn, okay? Every single line of this chart is very important. We lost 4 of the 5 trend lines that people were drawing, right? Each time they just redrew them. We held the last one finally, right? And that was very good to see. But we lost 4 of them, right? And people just keep redrawing their trend lines. So this is the message I'm trying to display here is don't listen, including myself, right? Don't listen to YouTube. Don't listen to Twitter. Listen to them, but don't take it too much to heart because there's always scenarios in which it's going to be bullish and bearish. You know, I can make a video right now, which is generally a bearish video, right? I don't think the market looks good. I don't think it looks good at all. I think we're going to be trending downwards, right? I think we might see a dead cat bounce at the most, and, you know, at the most come up and retest this yellow line. But, you know, I think that's unlikely. I think right now we might just be heading downwards, and I think the longer term trend is definitely downwards, and I think it's not the time to be buying anything, right? However, I could just as easily come here and make a 20-minute video about the bull case because there are so many bullish indicators to look at as well. However, I think as an analyst, the bearish outweighs the bullish heavily in this time in the market, right? And the overall message that the market is telling me through my experience is that we need to be being cautious here. Now, right now, if you haven't sold here, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because I don't know if I'd be selling at current prices. It's very hard to say, but I'm not in that position, okay? I was encouraging people to sell at 66 to 63K, all right? Now that we're down here all the way in the 40Ks, you know, obviously the lower we go, the higher the risk it is to sell. Also, the higher risk it is to hold. You need to make that decision. That's not on me, right? I can't tell you whether to sell or not. What I can tell you is it's probably not the time to buy, okay? Wait for some confirmations. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.